Welcome to the Evolv Atlanta Acting Studios Alumni Roundtable. I'm Victor Love. I'm at the Evolv Studio, and I'm a big fan of my guests tonight. So let me introduce them to you. Right in front of me is Jason C. Louder. Jason C. Louder, you might know him from BMF, Black Lightning, Wu-Tang, American Saga, and The Wonder Years, plus other things. He's an amazing, amazing man. And later on, he might share with us how he and I met.
Yes.
We'll see how that works.
Yes.
Next to him is Stella Doyle. Hey, Stella.
Hey.
And you might know Stella from Instant Family, The Conjuring 3, Mr. Manhattan, Single Black Female 2, and other stuff that she can't remember.
It just happened.
It just happened. So thank you for being here. And then over here, we have Leonard R. Butler. You may see him as Leonard Butler, but we're family here.
Sugar Ray Leonard backwards.
That's right. We love it. And you know Leonard R. Butler from senior year, Creepshow, Outer Banks, Marvin Sapp, the movie, Wholly Irresistible, and Christmas Everlasting. And these are just some of the credits that these wonderful people have. The reason that they're here, besides the fact that they're good people and don't have shit to do on Saturday night, is that they
No, wait a minute.
we all met through the studio, the Evolv Acting Studio. And so we're just gonna talk. We're gonna have like a little round table and just share some of our experiences with those of you who are watching. And if they ain't watching, we have a good time here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So answer at any time you'd like. Why did you want to become an actor?
People don't realize I have to tell people this story. In 1973, I was Actor of the Year at Miami-Dade College. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I never studied acting at the time. I joined the theater group at the college, and they thought I was studying acting, and I wasn't. So that, it was that bug in me to express myself in different ways, right? Playing characters and doing something different than who I really was at the time. So that bug's been in my system for a long time. So when I eventually got back in it later in life, after a career in another company, it was just the obvious choice to make, to do for my second journey.
That's awesome. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
And I know everything about you. Everything.
You thought you did.
I know, right? Miss Stella, you want to answer that?
Okay. Well, I had this bug way back when I was
Bugs,
a bug, yeah, like I don't know, a cold or something. But anyway, no, I was around like 9 years old, and I remembered that I used to get my two brothers, and we used to do I Love Lucy skits in front of my parents. And then life happens. You go to school, you da-da-da-da-da, and everything like that. My career, my first career was with Los Angeles Police Department.
LAPD.
LAPD, yeah. And so I started doing industrials for them because, for the training films for roll call, they have to have real officers, handle the guns, drive the cars and all that. And so it reignited that passion and that fun, because I think it's fun to me, and so it reignited that passion and that desire to do that, and so here I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I know, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can do this till I can. Like Betty White, till I
That's right.
go see the Lord.
That's right.
Right? Am I going?
Well, we'll find out, right? And Mr. Jason.
I've been kind of trained to tell the story, man. But I tell people acting found me. I was teaching at this school. It used to be called Romar Academy.
No kidding.
This was my sister's pre-K classroom that we're sitting in right now.
Wow.
So, but yes, acting kind of found me while I was teaching. So my homeboy, he reached out to me one day. He said, "Hey, you should go to this audition." I said, "For what?" He said, "For a play." I said, "For what?" He said, "Because, you're the hype man of our rap group and you got all this energy, you should be acting." And I was like, okay, let me just go. And so I went to the audition. She gave me the side. I said, what am I supposed to do? She said, "Have you ever acted before?" I said, "No." She said, "Oh my God." She said, "Okay, just look over these. We'll call you in." And so they called me, and I looked over the sides, and I was like, oh wow, this is nice, this is powerful. Okay, so I went in, started reading with the director. We start going back and forth, and something happened. I don't know what. It was a spiritual experience, and I was like, oh my God. And after she said, thank you so much, I said, no, thank you. The director sitting next to her said, hey, can you read mine too? And I was like, yeah, let me see. So I got that. We read it back. It happened. And I was like, whoa. So the director next to her said, hey, can you read mine? But do you have a Jamaican accent? I said, yeah, man. Got her. I read it. And then later on that evening, the department chair, her name is Dr. Shirley Holmes, God rest her soul. She called me, she said, Jason? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, so you've been cast in all of the plays, but I can't let you do that because that would be unfair for you and for the other directors because, you know, you never acted before. So I'll let you choose 2. And I chose the first 2. It was called Our Liberated Justice. It was a story about the Black Panthers. The young lady who directed it was about her mom and dad. They got framed for robbing a Brinks truck. And so they had to flee to Mississippi. And then the United States government came in with tanks and busted their house. Yeah, so it was a real powerful story. So I got a chance to talk to her parents. I portrayed her dad. True story. True story.
It is, yeah.
You know, and that's when the bug bit me, if you will. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this brings me to a question that is further down the list, but how do you approach preparing for a role? Because that role obviously was something that was very real for you, you know? I would like to know how you do that and how do you navigate the audition process, okay?
I had a lot of help. I mean, with Dr. Asante Wasuni Ali, that's her name. She's a doctor now. But she essentially said, okay, since you never acted, I'm gonna give you these questions about Uta Hagen. Answer all these questions. If you can answer all these questions after you talk to my dad, then we're gonna go through the training process. So her dad was my lesson, my prep. He helped prepare me for the role because he lived it. So I was just embodying what he told me, you know. And then of course I had to now put myself in that experience, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's just one way that I've been able to prepare. Like I create this backstory, and then find something about the character that I know is only for that character. You know, like for some roles I might say, okay, this guy, he has a toothpick all the time and he does this little thing with
You find a way to personalize the work so that you are there.
Yeah, yes.
Stella, you have a take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, well, you know, when I prepare for a role, of course, you know, you do the standard mundane stuff. You know, you look at the director, you look at the producer, see what they've done, see what the flow is.
So before I don't want you to lose this, but you research who it is you're going to be working with in addition to doing the work on the script.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that because I want to sort of get in their mind and their personality of, okay, they like to shoot these kind of movies. And so that gives me a little story, you know, about sort of like the backstory to them. Yeah. And I, like Jason, I go through you know, a lot of times we just don't get the script.
Right.
And so I've trained myself to, when I get the scenes and I read them over and over and over, not making any decisions yet. Right. And so I start to embody the character, and I find their little tics, and because that's critical, is finding their little tics about, oh, why is she doing this to that? Why did she respond that way? So you start getting in their mind, in my mind, and all of a sudden you have this character that's come alive. And it's just a really great feeling. It's a euphoric feeling. Yeah. I mean, when you're in that moment, it's almost like and I know I've been on set and you're in this with what you've done, the work. And it's almost like an out-of-body experience. Yeah, you don't even remember what you did. It's a high.
Yeah.
You know? And I have not done drugs, but I would say it's like a high.
I have done drugs.
You don't need to tell me, right?
I don't know why you brought that up.
I don't know.
I am not going to discuss anything I have done. Moving on.
Anyway, yeah, go on, Leonard.
I'm not sure I could add much to that, but
That was some good stuff, y'all.
that
Yeah.
was some very good stuff because I kind of go with, you know, I took this class and this acting instructor, I don't remember his name, but he gave a lot of ways of looking at and how to develop characters. Blah, blah, blah. And I never forget him saying one time, I read the script 50 times before I start to try to memorize it or start to, and that's what I do. I read it, and then I trust my instincts that says, this is what they're looking for. Now, make a choice and go with it. And don't second guess yourself.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with whether or not you get it or don't get it.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, there's been those
right.
experiences in my life where I do the work so thoroughly, embody the character so thoroughly that getting it or not getting it is not even important. The fact that I have found this new part of myself is really interesting.
It's mindset, right? So now I don't even call them auditions. I call them playtimes now.
You know, you have done that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I got another
that's a
playtime.
good call.
You know, because now that's the work.
Right.
You
Yeah.
get to play. So any opportunity to play, that's what.
But so many actors, and I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, it's so serious. It's so serious, and it's so much work. You know,
No.
but when you're doing it, when you're
Yeah.
letting go, it is.
It's an opportunity to play. You call it play, and for me, I say create.
Yes.
You just get to create this person, this being from paper, from words, and now you make it into a live person. It's just, yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun.
It's an honor.
This is wonderful stuff, you guys. I would like to ask you, how do you keep yourself creative? How do we do this? In between roles, in between projects, how do you stay inspired to, you know what I'm saying? Also with that, how do you navigate, continue to be healthy? Maybe that's the way to say it. When there is so much rejection that we encounter in this business. Would you start off?
Yeah, it's an interesting question of how do you inspire yourself, and it is because I do it. One of the things I do on the side is I'm a photographer and I take auditions for other actors. It's amazing how they can motivate you by helping them with their work. Because I watch them and I watch what they do right and I watch what they do wrong. And it motivates me to keep at it. And once you start down this path, you watch movies different. Right?
That's a fact.
And you get motivated
That's a
by,
fact.
oh, wow, he really did that strong.
Yeah.
Or versus you go, you know, could have hit that a little harder, I think.
Yeah.
So that's really the motivation for me, the things I see, the people I meet, like Stella, like, you know, Jason, these folks.
I just wondered if there was somebody else.
Oh, I have no idea. We'll talk about your motivation later. But those are the things that make you do what you do and want to continue to do what you do.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. You meet a lot of nice people, a lot of motivated people, a lot of people with talent, and you go, wow, they're really good at this.
Yeah.
I used to take this young lady and I used to walk away and go,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
She's got it. And I'd tape other people and she knows some of them and we go,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Another work with you.
Just add to that before we move on, rejection or not getting the role. Is there a special way you deal with that?
Well, that was a hard lesson. When you head down this path, the first thing you learn is that they're trained to say no. Because they're talking to a lot of people to get the one. So they're trained to say no. So you have to figure out where it's not personal. Because the first time you hear it, it's personal. You just said no to me, and I'm the man. And you realize, I ain't the man. But it's not personal. You say, hey, like Jason said, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
You did the best you could do.
Yeah.
And it was pretty darn good. But they decided on somebody else. That's the way it goes. You know?
Okay, so you've given me some perspective that allows you to like not personalize the no.
Right.
And that's one of the 4 agreements. don't take it personal. And I've adopted the 4 agreements into my life, you know.
For people who don't know the 4 agreements, could you?
Don Miguel Ruiz had a book
Yes.
called The 4 Agreements. And so one of the 4 agreements is to never take things personally, to always do your best, to not make assumptions, because when you assume, make an ass out of you and me.
Really?
Assume. And then to be impeccable with your word. And so if you, I'm like, wow, let me see if I can apply this to my life. And it's made a I'm talking an amazing impact, right? And so that not taking it personal, I return to the mindset. Rejection is for my protection. What's for me will never miss me. So them saying no was for me to be protected, because that wasn't for me. And so thank y'all for saying no.
That's a powerful way of looking at
That
it.
is a power. He is so philosophical.
Oh, no, I mean, but it comes with our experience.
But you know what? The studio, the Evolv studio, it's called Studio for the Conscious Actor. And so there's so much about mindfulness and things that we work on
Yes.
that aren't just because we're being mindful.
No.
They're because we are dealing with life on life's terms. And we want to, like, you know, Stella?
Well, let's see here. So what was the question? Okay. Went kind of a little bit off.
We were talking about the drugs that we've all taken.
Oh,
Rejection.
No, there was it was a 2-part question. What was the first part?
Yeah, how do you stay inspired between projects, and how do you deal with rejection?
You know, what I do is, you know, they always say, oh, well, you know, in between, read a script, do this, do that, do another. I don't find myself doing that. I find myself staying healthy. I love to garden. So I need to keep myself active, because a lot of actors, you know, if they're not auditioning or doing the work, they just kind of don't do a whole hell of a lot. And for me, it's doing that. But the other thing too is that I will start watching shows showing that I normally wouldn't watch, you know, because sometimes we find ourselves, oh, I only like to play this kind of character, or I only like to do this kind of thing. And so in order to kind of give myself a little more broader sense of the world, I do that. That's what I do. And then for rejection, it was an interesting thing when I first started, because, you know, I've been doing this a long time. And the rejection at first wasn't even so much as being rejected. What I found very interesting is you would go to the audition, and if you didn't get it, you never heard from anyone. And it was like, well, aren't they going to call? Aren't they going to call and let me know if I got it or not? What's up with that? You know, and so for me, it wasn't so much as the rejection. It was like nobody ever told me no. You know, like you didn't get it. And it's funny because a lot of actors I find, they'll ask me when they're, you know, the newbies, and they'll say, well, how do you know? And that's one of the biggest things. Well, how come they don't call you? You know, and I said, because they don't have the time. You haven't heard between blah, 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 blah. Just move on. Don't even, and as a matter of fact, even now, you go in and do the audition, you've done the best you could.
Move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Move on. You got to let it go. You cannot have that burden, because that's just an illness.
It's always so surprising when they do make that call and like, oh, you booked it. Which one?
Right.
You know?
Because you let it go.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
And that's
yeah.
the beauty of it.
Because you've done so many.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Roles that you would like to play, because you just mentioned how you'll watch things that you haven't done.
Right.
You know? What are some of those?
Well, I did this year. I got to play a nun. I've always wanted. That was off my checklist. You know, I would really like to play a badass. You know, I want to be the woman in prison wearing orange, like the orange is the new black kind of thing.
Is orange your color?
Yeah. Well, it is, it does. It brings out the best hue of me. But I want to play that woman that runs that inner, the prisoners and,
I can see you. I can see.
Could you do? Yeah, I'd like to do that. Yeah.
That goes back to
I've
your
earned
first
this-
love, the LAPD.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had a lot of,
She acts like that sometimes anyway.
I've had a lot of insight on this. But yeah, I want to run the drug cartel in the prison, and I want to say, you need to take that bastard out.
Oh, roles. Can I go back?
Oh,
to
please,
roles?
please, please, please.
My dream role was to play Bob Marley.
Oh.
And so when I saw Ben Kingsley there, I was like, wow. And I knew, I was like, I don't look like Bob Marley. But that was a dream role.
What made you want to play Bob Marley? Was it his spiritual content?
100% spiritual.
That he used his art to change the world?
To change the world because he was a prophet. And I was like, I
Yeah.
would love to embody that space of that man.
So in the writing that you're doing, in the creating that you're doing, and I'll be with you in a moment, Leonard, are you creating characters like that?
Absolutely, positively.
Leonard.
So the role I would love to play is this, based on my age obviously, is this older black man who's been with his wife for 50 years and and his kids, he's taking care of his kids and he's taking care of his grandkids and their families, a strong image black man in a movie for young men to look up to.
Okay.
That's a role I'd like to
I like
play.
that.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a comment like, who wants to turn in and watch the granddad? But it's not funny. I love what you just said.
Yeah.
I love what you just said. Back in the day when I was living in California and I had the dreams and aspirations of writing and directing and all these different things, I remember we came up with a story and a director said, are there any white people in it? And I said, no, it's about my family. And he goes, oh, no one's gonna buy it. But that's changed.
It's changed. Slowly but surely.
And we're part of an evolutionary process that what we thought was undoable, we are now learning that we can do it.
Yeah, amen.
This is good stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna make this all about Evolv. How did you find Evolv? Tell us, and be sure you use the word evolve in your answer. Okay?
Well,
Yeah.
you want to hear my story first?
Yeah, go for it.
When we started, and a buddy of mine, Al, who I'm sure will be at one of your future deals, we were looking for an acting class to help us, based on our backgrounds and where we came from. And I never forget, I guess I should name some of the places, but we went to different places, and then our agent says, hey, I know this guy. You guys should audit his class. I went, and we said, well, what's the name of it? It says, it was Evolv, and the instructor is Victor Love. I go, I ain't never heard of him. So it was three of us. It was myself, Al, and Amy Garcia.
Amy.
Wow, Amy.
So we wherever Victor was at the time, we showed up that night. We paid our $10 or something to audit this class, and we're sitting in the back. And about 5 minutes into it, and I turned to Al. I go, "This is it. This is the one."
Wow, 5 minutes.
It was just so intense and it was so real, and I went, "This is what we were looking for." So many of them were. And I don't want to disparage. It was good stuff. You learned stuff, but it was kind of fluffy. But this was. We're sitting in the back going, "Holy moly, this is intense. This is what we're looking for." And I was kidding Amy Garcia. Say, "Amy, I think that guy's gonna kiss that girl. Which one you want to kiss?"
That is hilarious. Wow.
This is serious stuff, Amy. And the rest was history. We signed up. We stayed. We
Years.
spent years here.
Yes.
Years. And Victor insulted me for years. And trained
It's
me.
so sad how many actors will hear a critique and they make it personal. You see? And they say insult when Did being there help?
You just
It was
rejection was
it was
personal.
No, it was
Was that a joke?
It was a joke. I loved every minute.
Who wants to go next?
So I transplanted here from Los Angeles. You know, it was not for the acting world. I came for a grandchild, and I didn't even know there was acting here. Yeah, I didn't even know there was an acting community. But anyway, so I then began my search for a school, a class. So Autumn Bailey Ford was having these Get Connected over at the Peter Sanford Performing Arts.
Yeah, Port of Sanford.
Port of Sanford. Sorry.
That's good.
And so I happened to meet up with her. I barely knew her. But anyway, and I said, yeah, I'm just here, looking for an acting class. She goes, oh, well, if you go down to the auditorium, there's Evolv Studios. There's one, the instructor, the owner is, doing a little workshop over there. I said, oh, okay. So I go in there, and I kid you not, I opened the door, and I took one step in. And it was like literally a bolt of lightning.
Wow.
It was that intense. Yeah. There was something that hit me. And I said, I need to go to Evolv. And I stayed,
Wow. That's a great story.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely true. I don't know what it was, but it shook me.
Wow.
And that was because of all that positive karma, kismic stuff that was happening in that room. And it was like a force.
Wow, that's so really wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I think we all have similar stories because when acting kind of found me, and I was like, well, I got to train. I want to take classes. I wanted to know about this craft, right? So I took everybody's classes in Atlanta. And a good friend of mine, Reese, she told me, she said, hey, have you taken Victor's class yet? I said, Vic, I don't know. Who's that? She's like, yeah, you should. I'm taking it. You should go and drop in. And I was like, I don't know if I dropped in or I called. I might have called. I think I called. But when I got there, it was just like, who are these people in this class, and who is this man dropping these freaking gems about? It wasn't just about acting; it was about life. And I was like, this man is teaching about life right now. But the performers are like, holy crap! I think Hamilton and Ingrid had done they were doing a scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember, those,
This is where I need to be. And then Christian came up. Christian and I was like,
Oh, Christian, yeah, I haven't heard that.
and then Gooseby came up, and I was like, I can't be in this class because that's too good.
My memory is, this is wonderful stuff, but my memory was I was doing Shakespeare poetry and prayer. I was traveling to the different schools.
So here's where I fall. I wasn't sure if it was that or that. So you're right, Miss Jackson. She brought you to Imhotep Academy.
Yes, and I was there in the morning working with the kids.
And he
And
was
this young man with the dreadlocks came over, and he was so enthusiastic, and he was, and I was like, this is such a nice guy, But then he became one of the students.
Yeah.
And the rest is wonderful.
It's wonderful. And I remember, and I was like, Miss Jackson's like, that's Victor Love. He was in A Native Son. And I was like, I saw that in high school. That is him. So, and then I also saw the Hank Thomas, the Hank Gathers.
Yeah.
That your performance moved me, and I didn't even know what it was doing. But looking hindsight, 2020, you were living truthfully, and that living truthfully is.
You were in the Hank Gathers movie?
He was Hank Gathers.
You was Hank Gathers?
He was Hank Gathers.
I never know to take you seriously or not.
I thought you had to be able to at least dribble a basketball.
Movie magic. Yeah. Besides lowering the rim to right here, there were sound effects.
He was flying and everything.
Oh, this is wonderful.
I just want, it's just really wonderful. But, Victor, you are just an amazing human being. I mean, just amazing. And I love you. I think we all love you. And you're just giving and your teachings and everything. I mean, I keep telling you, I mean, what I learned in class was I mean, my foundation, my strength, and I'm,
Oh, I appreciate that.
That's why I call you Baba. There you go, Baba.
And I said to him one day, I said, what does Baba mean? Why you call me Baba?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I get so much out of the teaching. I came to the teaching because I had was dealing with a drug issue. I guess an addiction issue. Life had come at me in a way that I didn't know how to respond. And I had been working in LA, in New York for a long time, and something happened where the bottom fell out of my life. And I remember saying to God, my higher power, I said, whatever I have to do to get clean, I'll do it. And my mom was living here in Georgia, and I came here, no idea that there was acting here. I had promised God that I would just give it away, And then one thing led to the next and the next to the next. And I found something in sharing, which we've mentioned earlier before we were filming, that he started healing me. And it's really interesting when this is not part of what the roundtable is, but each one of you played an important part in my getting and remaining sober and in reigniting that thing inside of me that if I don't use it, I get sick. So if I were to answer, why am I an actor? Because I can't help it. It is not a choice that I get to make. It is something that I found early, and it was always like the background for everything else that I did,
A calling.
Yeah, but when God gives us something, if we don't use it, it's like we're saying, oh, thank you for this $1 million gift. I don't want it. In order to praise and use what we have, we have to use it. And being an actor, it changes everything about who we are. What has been the biggest change being an actor has made to you in your lives?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
Or you can even look at it in the reverse. How do you think your life would be now if you had not found acting?
It's such an outlet to
was just about to say that.
burn some of this creative energy that you have. I mean, it has helped me as a older gentleman retired. It just it gives me something to look forward to.
Besides your golf?
Besides, yeah, that's right. My golf, my grandkids. So it does wake you up. It puts something in your eye that when you look at people, they see that energy and they go, yeah, you know what you're doing.
I love that. What about you two?
It's for me. It's because now I see acting as life. I see it as life. So I've become such a more grounded human becoming. You know what I mean? And I've become so much more vulnerable and just present. I've become so much more present in life.
Acting has so much as a presence, but just a release, because you have so much emotions and then creativity and you get the script or you get the character and you get to just be and just release all of this. And, and all of a sudden you have this creation here and it just gives you just all this joy and like, wow, I had, 5 minutes ago, I was out there scrubbing a pot, doing this, and now I was working on my reading, my lines and all of that. And now here I am taping this, and now it's just like, wham.
Yeah.
And it's just this release. It's beautiful.
What you all said in different times in different ways was it is a spiritual experience.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I'm still working on and still learning is the only power we have is in the moment, is in right now. And I think we feel that power when we're in love or when we're threatened. Like if somebody's coming at you, we're very in the moment. And the other time when we feel
Chubbuck.
other moment that we feel that is when we're acting, if we're doing a good job, because we're breathing and being present,
She said, yeah.
And to add some humanity to it, I get to call somebody a bitch ass motherfucker.
Ooh.
I don't get to do that in real life.
No, you wouldn't want to.
So I'm like, oh, is that the script? Yes.
You know, my mother.
That was really real. What he scared me right there with that.
I thought he,
Check him out. Check him out on
I thought he was
BMF.
going off.
Yeah.
You know,
Is something you said? I wasn't sure.
I looked around at both of y'all like, is it time for me to get up? You know, my mother will watch TV with me when she's in town.
Yes.
And when you've been on, you know, I have said, Mama, this is Jason. You know, you met him at this event. And then you come on there with them, all them bad words. And she says, son, I don't remember that, man. And we don't need to watch this. Because that's how good you are.
I saw him on Black Lightning. I did the same thing. Where, he was on Black Lightning and sitting in a bar and doing a scene. And I was telling my wife, I was like, that guy is the nicest guy you ever want to meet in your life. That guy right there that acted the fool is the nicest guy you ever want to meet.
I love it.
She goes, really? And my friends hate watching movies with me anyway. I give away the secrets.
Yeah.
I got this one, but he said, I can't even watch TV anymore. Because things you don't think about that they take for granted. Like when two people are talking and somebody walks behind them.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, I say, yeah, somebody told him to walk back there.
Yes.
They go,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I go, see them two guys across the street? Somebody, they got things in here, somebody tell them to go that way.
Go that way.
You know, the auditing process here at the studio, we hear that so much. We have people who come in and they want to be actors, and they're like, I just never knew that all of this went into what's going on. Right. You know, and I love that part of it. Okay, so you all have answered almost every one of my questions and more. I'm going to ask one more, and you choose which one you want to answer. The questions are, what is your most rewarding role and why? The other question, give us a behind-the-scene blooper that you would like to share with us. And then the one about what advice would you give to an aspiring actor? And then just, you know.
I'm going to give my blooper. I was on the set, it was Creep Show. And I walked through the door, she's standing looking at the guy, he's going to get electrocuted. And there was this one word that for some reason I could not get this word with. And the word was ancillary. And I was saying ancillary. And the director goes, Leonard, I think it's ancillary. I go, oh, okay. I go out, I come back around, and I said, ancillary. And I said, okay, let me think about it. I had to think about it for a minute. I had to say it like 20 times in my head.
Yeah.
For some reason, that word did not catch in my head.
That happens.
And I go, one word.
But you know, it's interesting
And people
because
sitting there going, oh God, who is this guy? He can't even say ancillary.
you'd think they're thinking that. But when I was doing the resident, you know, that medical talk they do. And so, you know, you learn it, you come to the set, you're ready, and then they give you, oh, here's the rewrite. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
You know, because there was words on there that I had never learned, and I know lots of words, you know.
It's important for the new actors to understand that whatever you're given, you know, it's like when you were you in there just without any training, and you said, okay, this is when I'm going to do it, and you do the best.
Yes.
So I was auditioning for a movie role, and I got a call back. So I go to the callback, and they said, "Oh, you've got the role of the principal." And I'm like, going, wait a minute. I didn't audition for the principal. I auditioned for something else. Okay, you know, and so, all right, you just take it in stride. You know, you just take. So okay. And then the casting director no sooner that had she given me the sides for the principal, she goes, oh, no. That role's being given away. So here's a role, here, read for the secretary. And so I'm thinking to myself, wait. This is a callback. So I'm going to be reading for the role of the secretary that probably 5 other women have already been here to read that role. And she says, you have 10 minutes. So mind you, it's a callback. Here in Atlanta, we have 5 people in the room, and the writer, director from LA, the casting director from LA, and the people. So here we are. So they give me the one for the secretary, and I'm like going, okay, all right, just go in. And I did it. I had them laughing because it was a sort of a funny role. And then he gave me a redirect, did it, and I left. I booked that movie, but for another role
Oh, get out of here.
that I did not audition for. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So always
Wow.
don't have an attitude. Accept what you get because it's a blessing. Okay. So it was the social worker, the principal, the secretary, and I booked the lawyer that I didn't audition for.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is
Your professionalism and
just take it in stride and be grateful.
Show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Show up.
Yeah, show up
Just show
and be
up.
up there. And fortunately, whoever wrote the doggone scene for the secretary did a damn good job because within 10 minutes I had it.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a strong point. It says when you're auditioning for that role and possibly anything else they're looking for if
Yeah.
they like what you do. Because that happened to me once.
Yeah.
For the movie Get Hard. I auditioned for this and they hired me for something else. I was still taking class with you.
All of them.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, but BMF and for Black Lightning, I auditioned for 2 different roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll share this story for BMF. This is one of my just stories that I tell other actors. I tell younger actors, always be respectful to everybody on that set. PA, the guy that's sweeping the mop and the floor.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? Hey, thank you so much. Just be respectful, right? So we were at a dinner for another cohort that was she was moving to LA, and so one of the young ladies, she's a writer, and her name is Shaquela Mims, and she was like, "Hey, yo, Jason, oh my God, yo, we're gonna work together one day." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's manifest it. We're gonna work together, absolutely, absolutely." So we have that moment, and then 2 years later, I get the audition for BMF. It was for one role. Came in, did it. And then my agent calls me about 2 weeks later and says, "Hey, you didn't get that role, but they want you for another role that you didn't audition for. Are you okay with that?" And I'm like, "What? Yes. Am I okay? Yes." So I get the call sheet and the script, and I'm like, Shaquela Mims. Written by Shaquela Mims. I was like,
Holy.
I said, "Yo, Shaquela, I got the script for BMF, and your name's on it." She was like, "Oh, I know. I wrote that role for you." And I pitched to them that I said, she said, "I want a Jason Lowry for this role." I said, "I owe you my life." She said, "No, you don't. Do what I know you can do."
Nice.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know, here in Atlanta, so many people, so many young actors, young people, even old people, know me from different world.
Yes.
And the story behind that one is really funny because I used to not audition for sitcoms. I wanted to be a serious actor, hour-long shows, that kind of thing. And I was at a party, and this young man came up and he says, "You're an actor, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I've written a role on Different World. I would like to know if you'd be interested in doing it." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, what do you want?" And I said, "Sure." And he described the role, and I was like, "Sure." And then they called me and gave me the role. Wow. And I remember, it was like, I've done 2 or 3 or 4 maybe sitcoms at that time. And I remember thinking, this is so weird, I mean, I didn't watch the show. I didn't know the show. And so I did the show. And then when I came to Atlanta years later, in LA, people would come up to me and say, "You were in this and you were in that." And I'd say, "Yes." No one ever mentioned Different World. Here in Atlanta, probably not a day goes by that somebody doesn't mention that show. And that came out of just a meeting with somebody in a social situation. Oh, Atlanta. We're in Atlanta.
Yes.
But we have all worked in other places.
Yes.
What do you say, very briefly, that differentiates Atlanta from New York, from Chicago, from LA?
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever. But anyway, so LA actress, moved to Atlanta, and I've been acting here. And I will say that I'm a little dismayed at production companies that come into Atlanta because they dismiss the quality of Atlanta actors. I have been on set where they flew in a New York actor. I've been on set for another big production that they flew in people from LA. And the director had to keep going back and going back. One scene I remember took from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. just because they couldn't get it correct. And I'm just sitting there looking at these people. I'm like going, I could name 5 people right off the top of my head who would have knocked it out in a moment. And I'm not quite sure if that's exactly what the question that you asked, but for me, I think that is what holds that I'm not too fond of, is that we are just not given the value that we deserve, because we are up there just as good or even better, because you know how it is. We work harder because we have to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that we have an outstanding pool of awesome actors here, and I just wish that production companies would kind of open their eyes to that.
Yeah, it's a partnership too. It takes a village to do that as well. So the whole dynamic of the production process, this is gonna all fall on them to collectively say, hey, you know what? Let's
I
work
think
together.
too, it's offering us the roles, because we get the
You don't even get the audition sometimes.
Yeah, we don't even get the auditions.
I had an actor, and this is one of the questions that came up as we were talking. So, we'll explore it in another session.
Yeah.
But I have had a couple of actors who've gone back to LA, or gone to LA, to study, to see what it's like to have an acting class in LA, what's it like to be with LA actors. And I'm not exaggerating when I say they've gone to the names, they've come back to the studio and said, what they call their advanced class doesn't touch what we're doing in ours, And to say that, like, the feedback that they got from those teachers was exactly the feedback they had been getting back from me. So I think that it's very powerful what we're creating.
Good.
And I know that I've had 2 jobs recently where they all thought I must have come from LA because I had the job. And they were leads, and I did a TV pilot, and I was the only Atlanta actor.
Wow.
I shouldn't have been.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you all for this. This is our first roundtable, but it's been really wonderful. And I think that based on what you have given me, it's going to be a difficult show to beat. So God bless you. Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you, Victor. No, thank you. You were just, yeah.
Thank you so much.
We would do anything for you.
Facts.
Well, hopefully I can pay you next time. Okay, so I guess that's it. Please come back, tune in, check us out, the Evolv Atlanta Acting Studio.